Democrats are eagerly looking to fuel their next investigation into President Trump. But as one America's Pearson Sharp explains, in their crusade to condemn the president, Democrats are actually undermining our entire justice system.
As one witch hunt ends, the next one begins. Democrats are gearing up for the next round of attacks on President Trump, preparing to scrutinize his finances, his tax returns, and his business dealings in an effort to find even a shred of evidence against him. But while Democrats have their laser focus of hatred targeted on the president, isn't there something they're maybe forgetting? Perhaps a scandal or two or 10 that's on their side and has been conveniently brushed under the rug. Well, let's take a look. First off, despite the piles of nothing the Democrats have turned up on President Trump, there is a mountain of evidence for one case in particular that no one seems interested in looking at. That's the little-known case of an IT worker for the Democratic National Committee named Seth Rich. Rich was killed in the early hours of July 10th, 2016, in the months leading up to the presidential election. The official story is that just a block from his Washington, D.C. apartment, Seth was shot and killed in a simple robbery gone wrong. Democrats and the media seem happy with this version, even though it must be the worst robbery in history, since the robbers left an expensive watch, wads of cash, and Seth's mobile phone. But numerous testimonies since his death indicate that Seth Rich was actually at the center of an effort to expose corruption at the highest levels of the Democratic Party. Just before he was murdered, Seth Rich was investigating several cases involving the DNC's electoral fraud and voter suppression and was set to testify in the case of Hillary Clinton's email investigation. But then, randomly, he was killed. Just 12 days later, WikiLeaks released a trove of emails allegedly given to them by Seth Rich showing massive conspiracy against Bernie Sanders and leading Debbie Wasserman Schultz to resign as the chairperson of the DNC. Considering the flimsy evidence Democrats are using to go after Trump, it seems like the murder of Seth Rich, one of their own people, might be worth a second look. Wasserman Schultz also fought to protect one of her staffers, Pakistani IT aide Imran Oann, who was also hacking into government servers to collect information on House Democrats. Even though he was just a low-level IT worker, Oann was receiving chief of staff level pay, and his family were able to collect over $5 million from congressional offices. This led to a criminal probe in which Wasserman Schultz, a leading Democrat, threatened the D.C. chief of police with serious consequences if he didn't return some of the equipment that was being used as evidence in the investigation. If Democrats are taking notes, maybe that case is worth another look. The case of Imran Oann then segues into Javier Becerra, the Attorney General of California. Becerra routinely paid the Oann family up to $30,000 on top of Imran Oann's salary without any explanation. And when police discovered Oann's secret server was actually connected directly to computers in Becerra's office, Becerra rushed to erase all of the files on the hard drive. Capitol Police say the hard drive Becerra finally gave them turned out to be an elaborately falsified copy designed to hide the massive violations. Becerra was never prosecuted, even though police say he directly interfered in a criminal investigation. Again, if Democrats are looking for a case of corruption to investigate, this is another good opportunity with actual evidence. And finally, tying all of these separate incidents together is one woman. A woman who the head of the DNC once called a cancer that brought down the entire Democratic Party. That woman is Hillary Clinton. From the suspicious deaths of dozens of her political opponents, including Seth Rich, Vince Foster, and nearly 50 others, to the sale of American uranium to Russia, to the Clinton Foundation stealing millions of dollars from the UN that was meant for HIV victims in the Third World, to rigging a primary election against fellow Democrat Bernie Sanders, Hillary consistently puts her own agenda ahead of everyone and everything else. In 2012, 4 Americans were killed in Libya as a result of the poor choices made by then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and her associates. The American embassy was overrun, American lives were lost, and security forces said that members of Clinton's own State Department tried to pressure them to keep silent on what they knew about the attack. According to Paul Ryan, repeated requests for additional security at Benghazi were denied by Clinton's State Department, which many, including President Trump, have said directly cost the lives of American citizens.
The fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make?
And then there was the whole debacle with Hillary's use of a private email server to handle classified documents. Clinton insists that she never sent or received information marked as classified. Denying everything, Clinton ordered some 33,000 emails to be deleted, handing over a cherry-picked selection, claiming the FBI didn't need the rest. Yet investigators still found that she did, indeed, send and receive at least 110 emails containing classified information directly contradicting her statements and leading then FBI Director James Comey to say that information was likely accessed by foreign operators. Lastly, Clinton's campaign spearheaded the movement to link President Donald Trump to an elaborate conspiracy involving Russian hackers in the 2016 election. Clinton's team tried to dig up dirt on Trump and funded some opposition research. Hillary said jump, and the DNC hired Perkins Coie, who hired Fusion GPS, who hired Christopher Steele, who then wrote his infamous dossier. Despite being totally unverified and knowing the dossier was opposition research paid for by Clinton, the FBI decided to go ahead and use it anyway to authorize a FISA warrant against President Trump's associate, Carter Page. In fact, FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe flat out stated that they wouldn't have pursued the warrant without the dossier. And specific information in the dossier could only have come from the FBI, meaning they helped Christopher Steele put it together. So while the dossier itself proved to be a dud, it did reveal at least one clear case of collusion, not between President Trump and Russia, however, but between Hillary Clinton, the DNC, the FBI, and a foreign agent aimed at throwing the election in their favor and stopping Trump from getting elected. If it were anyone else, they'd be in jail right now. This whole time, Democrats have been painting Trump as this crazy conspiracy theorist, saying that the Russians were behind everything, when from the start, it now seems the Democrats were using our own intelligence services to spy on Americans and even influence an election. It's a corruption of the entire justice system. Rather than pursuing people who have committed crimes, the Democrats are pursuing one man and hoping to find a crime. And when they can break the justice system for one man, they can break it for anyone. For One American News, I'm Pearson Sharp.